Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back to Around the VLA. This is episode 6. I'm Rob St. Clair. That's Vince Sanzuki, and a special guest who played a bunch of volleyball this weekend and who has been all over the whole VLA scene over the past couple months. Chicago Icemen outside hitter, Mr. Will Kraft. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Great. It was you guys were both together in Nebraska this past weekend playing volleyball, and it was very weird for me to not be there. Like I've never watched a VLA event from afar before, but let's just get right into it. How was the weekend? Talk to me about the Lincoln event.
Yeah, it was a great setup. VC Nebraska definitely did went above and beyond for us, and the facility we played at was really nice. We really had pretty much everything that you could ask for an event. VC Nebraska themselves, a great tier two squad, and yeah, I really enjoyed being in Lincoln.
Yeah, driving from Chicago. It was a quick and easy drive right down I-80. All pretty much all the way through. Once you get into Nebraska, it was pretty easy. But then, yeah, like Vince said, VC Nebraska really shelled out for us. The facilities were great. Really, everybody around was super friendly and happy to help with kind of anything and everything that we asked for. So that was great. And then the level of play from both teams was also awesome. Coming out there and not Nebraska's not really known for men's volleyball. Obviously, the Huskers or women's volleyball is huge, and so it was kind of cool to showcase a little men's volleyball out there.
Yeah, I love that. So let's jump in and show the results from the weekend. So you guys got there on Friday night, and the two of you put on the first show right away, being kind of the featured match and only match going on Friday before the host club was involved, and you played a really good match. And Vince, you've been talking up this rivalry between you guys and the Icemen a little bit, but once again, Tim, our boy Tim Faulkner, with more fuel to just beat you back down as you talk about that as a rivalry. Icemen getting the better of that one 3-0. So tell me about that match, both of you, from both
Yeah,
your perspectives.
it may not be quite a rivalry yet. It's more that we just don't like each other very much.
Yeah,
It's
Tim's
just
really dislikable. Totally agree.
we don't like them, they don't like us, type of thing. I guess if that creates a rivalry, no, I guess not. Um, yeah, they definitely jumped out on us in that match early, and really set the tone for the entire weekend for them. And we just never could really, you know, get anything rolling in that first match. We played okay at times, but they definitely controlled the match through and through.
Will, how about for you? Because the Icemen, you guys only had 7 dudes, which is not very many, and that obviously came into serious play the next day, and we'll talk about that in a second. But a couple new faces, like you picked up Jacob Thanen in the middle out of Stanford, Hancock, who we've seen the past couple of years, but his first action this season, and he was at opposite, not middle. And then Danny, your other outside out of Juniata, and then you got Avery Ellsworth, who is one of the very best liberos in the country. So a little bit of a different look for the Icemen, but the 7 of you got to know each other really quickly. So what was that like for you, Will?
It was great, to be honest. I love playing with you guys, and it is kind of stressful getting into the later parts of these weekends when you only have 7 guys to play with. But at the beginning, everybody was excited. Everybody was ready to go. We got into the gym pretty early, made sure we got a good stretch in, got a good warm up, and then with Danny passing as an outside, and then with Avery as well. I've never played with either of them, but they're both. Well, Danny is both a libero and an outside. He's played both positions. Avery, a true libero, and it's awesome passing with with 2 liberos next to you, and I think that's part of why we succeeded a lot this weekend. Is that our service eve was really there most of the time, and Danny and Avery both came in very vocal about what scenes we're taking, what system we're going to be running in service eve, and that was key, especially with never playing with them before. So that was great to hear.
Cool. Yeah, I think the toughest part about playing with new people right away is if the setter is new. Unfortunately for you, you've been hitting off of Tim for a while. But I think the second most important thing is that communication between the serve receive unit. So yeah, about as easy as it could be with a new group of three, having two of them basically be liberos. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, we lucked out there. That was pretty nice.
So, what were both of yours, Will and Vince's takes on the squad that VC Nebraska fielded? There were some big names, some familiar faces. We certainly know Mark Jones pretty well. Nolan Albrecht, I saw, was all over the highlights that we're going to show in a little bit. The guy out of Belmont Abbey on the East Coast, and who's the 7-foot guy? Andrew, is that his name?
Yeah, he's a big guy. And I actually have never seen him before. Not sure exactly where he played club. I don't remember honestly where he played club at. But I mean, yeah, he was just a big guy, big blocker. I mean, what you expect out of a 7-footer, and in the opposite too. And so, yeah, I mean, he played well.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, Mark Jones, a former Iceman, potentially future Iceman as well. He's a good friend of the family here. But then Ryan Vorder as well, another ultimate guy that I played with in the south suburbs of Chicago. He's a great guy, awesome libero, great passer, great defender. So I knew that they had some talent with those guys. And so I honestly didn't know what to expect. I was pleasantly surprised. Pretty much all of these tier 2 teams from the Cup till now have been great. You know, bringing in awesome players, and they come with some fire energy, and they're ready to play.
That's a great point. The level of the tier 2 teams, me and Vince have both agreed that it's been fantastic. And so you talked a little bit about it earlier, whichever one of you it was. It said like Lincoln, Nebraska, or the state of Nebraska, really the whole like Great Plains area of the U.S. is not men's volleyball rich, but Lincoln in particular has a massive pocket of really high level women's volleyball. It obviously starts with UN, the Nebraska women's program having, let's see, how many Olympians? Three on this year's Olympic team, which is outrageous. And then the club VC Nebraska that hosted you guys obviously is a very big deal out there. So tell me about the vibe that they were able to create in the house. I understand that they kind of marketed it as a big deal for all of their juniors to come in and hang out for the weekend. So independent of the volleyball, what was just the whole setting kind of like?
So for the first match, us against Icemen, I mean there was a okay crowd there. I mean it was definitely more full than we've experienced so far, just because, or at least Ascension personally has experienced so far, because of COVID restrictions and things like that. We haven't played the AAUs or JVAs or anything like that yet. But it was cool to play actually in front of some people that are just there to see good volleyball, and so that was exciting. But then going into the other two matches, definitely when VC Nebraska was playing, Iceman had a little bit better crowd, a little bit better crowd than the first match, and then ours was great. I mean, pretty much every seat in the house was filled up. So it was pretty awesome to finally get to play in front of some people and get that experience to interact with a lot of young fans and a lot of people just wanting to figure out what the VLA even is.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys got to take some photos, like say what's up to the fans, and that may have felt like a true away game. And the format of what the VLA has been able to do so far, we don't really have those. So that must have been kind of cool. I kind of like playing away games.
Yeah,
I mean it's always great to travel. I mean, that's one of the fun things about doing doing the VLA. We'll go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna add on that. Sometimes if we're playing in Angola, Loy will bring in some of his club people, so you'll get that away game vibe if you're in Angola playing against Team Pineapple some nights. So, but yeah, I agree. When we played the first game against BC Nebraska, there was. BCN would get a kill, and you'd hear some people cheering, and then you get some little excitement, and then we'd get a kill, and then it would just be the Icemen hooping and hollering, So it was definitely a little bit of an away game vibe, which I thought was cool. But to go back to your previous question, uh, all of the club, the girls on the club team that were there to help were super friendly. I remember in between sets, Avery is peppering with two of them, just being friendly and showing that we're here to be friends, but we're gonna go beat your club. So
Love that. We're
Speak for yourselves.
speak for yourself. Well, we're excited about that, like working up to Orlando, which is a decent segue to talk about that, because that level of crowd interaction, crowd size, and all that, kind of like we talked about last week when we had Raymond on the show, that's going to be electric, and that's coming up very, very soon. I think, what, 2 weeks from tomorrow, 1 week from tomorrow? That's crazy.
1 week from tomorrow.
Wow, wild. All right, let's well, while we start talking about that, let's roll some Icemen highlights. Give the people some of what they want to see. See Will and the boys flinging the ball around. But and I'll show this right after we're done watching the highlights. But the season long standings were very important, and this weekend had a lot of consequences on that. So we'll talk about in just a second how we are seeding the VLA championships next week in Orlando, because it's just all the 5 Tier 1 teams, and it's just a double elimination tournament. So Will and the Icemen getting the 1 seed, which was likely going in because the events that Chicago's played, they've played really well. But you needed a couple wins to leapfrog Team LVC to grab that 1 seed, and you get a bye from that. So that's a really big deal. Did you guys know about that going into the weekend? Was there a little bit of extra emphasis on the matches?
With these new set of guys, Tim put a big emphasis on just, let's go out there, let's play, let's have a good time, and really show, what the Iceman culture is about. Our Iceman culture is, we're going to go out there, we're going to be screaming and yelling and having high energy, but we're also going to compete at a high level, no matter who's on the court. And so I think Tim wanted to focus more on that versus so much of what our standing could potentially be. It just takes a little bit of pressure off the new guys who are coming in, who may or may not potentially be joining us in Orlando. So personally, I think that was a good decision, just to go out there and really have a good time, but play hard. And so that's it's good news that that we do get that 1 seed and then we do get a bye. But I think that kind of comes from us really just living and playing our Iceman culture.
Yeah, I've talked about that a lot with the U.S. national team lately, and it's easy to see, like Team Pineapple is a good example of this, a process-oriented team versus a results-oriented team. Just the way that the teams are built and the mentality going into certain tournaments with lineup configurations like you're talking about, Will, and like the way that Team Pineapple is turning over in age right now, they're clearly a process-oriented team. I'd argue that Vince and the Ascension are a very process-oriented team. They're looking to the long term. They're trying to build things the right way. So it is really nice when it works out that you do get a bye. But in long-term competitiveness, I think the process method is the right way every single time.
Mm.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I mean, I think that there hasn't been a lot of emphasis put on the championships and the point rankings, standings, everything like that for this year. And I think a lot of that has to do with it's slightly skewed with the cancellations that we've had to have and endure with COVID. It was unfortunate, but we had to cancel the Pineapple Rising Tide event that was scheduled for June. We didn't really, go into it too deep, but we were supposed to be playing a JVA in Louisville, and we had to cancel that because of COVID. And so then just things like that kind of didn't. I mean, for example, when you do actually see the standings,
Let's put them up. Just put them up.
yeah,
Right now.
Pineapple and Rising Tide actually don't have the same amount of matches played as Team LVC, Phoenix, Ascension, and Iceman do, and because of that, they weren't able to have the points basically to really get that. But I mean, at the same time, we couldn't really justify not rewarding the teams that did actually get out and play in all those different events. So we just went off of, okay, this is what the standings are, even though they're may seem a little abstract for a professional league. Unfortunately, it's a COVID season, and so I mean we just finished it how we did, and there it is.
Yeah, it's a really good point. So the standings that you're looking at right now included all the regular season events, all matches against both Tier 1 and Tier 2 competition, and all the matches at the VLA Cup. So, like you said, Vince, the Rising Tide only played VLA Cup. It was very difficult for them to travel out of Southern California, given all that's been going on. Team Pineapple played back in January in Fort Wayne, and then VLA Cup, and that was it for them. The Ascension played back in Phoenix in February, VLA Cup, and Nebraska. LVC was Fort Wayne, Buffalo, and VLA Cup, and then Icemen were Buffalo, VLA Cup, and Nebraska. So, yeah, some teams were able to play more matches than others, but Vince has a great point. We couldn't not reward the teams that were able to play and were able to rack up some wins. So these are the standings that you see right now, finalized going into the VLA Championships next week. And so in a double elimination tournament, the Icemen, the 1 seed, will get a bye. LVC, the 2, will play Phoenix, the 3. The winner of that will go straight to winners side finals, and then the Rising Tide will play Team Pineapple, and the winner of that will play the Icemen. So we'll get more detailed bracket previews coming out in the next couple days. But we are really excited for this tournament format, mostly because Phoenix and LVC I don't think have played yet this year, and Rising Tide and Team Pineapple haven't played yet this year. So some new matchups versus what we saw at VLA Cup, which is going to be really sweet.
Yeah, it actually worked out very convenient that way. Ascension being able to play LVC, not playing Icemen like we've seen Icemen, plenty of times. But yeah, it's good to have some variation, especially when you do only have 5 matches or 5 teams, in the Tier 1. It's good to get that variation and whatnot. And of course, we intend to hopefully expand on that in the next season. But still, as it is currently, this is a pretty good, I guess, variation from what we've seen. So it worked out really nice that the bracket finished off that way.
Will, so going all the way back to last year, the one tournament we were able to pull off in the heat of the pandemic was the VLA Kickoff Classic back at Loy's Place last July, which you guys won. So then coming into this year, you kind of had the target on your backs as the reigning champions. You had a really good weekend in Buffalo, a rough first day at VLA Cup before playing substantially better and going to the finals there. So coming into the championships next week, where there are no Tier 2 teams. Mikey in the chat is asking about that. Nope, just the 5 Tier 1 squads, and that's it. The Icemen are very much still the team to beat and are the reigning champions. I think that's just the way it is. So, Will, what do you guys feel about the fact that everyone's kind of gunning for you guys, especially as the 1 seed going in with a bye?
Bring it on,
Love it.
So we've put hours in the gym. We've worked super hard. We've had guys who have been overseas that have come back that have done some good work with the Icemen. And unfortunately, our MVP Dave is still a bit banged up, so he won't be. I don't believe he'll be joining us again. But it's always a challenge. Not every game is guaranteed. All 5 of these teams are capable of winning this championship. So it's nothing is guaranteed. Everything's won on the court. So I'm excited to go out there and to play at some really high levels. It's going to be fun. Hopefully there's going to be big crowds to watch some really good volleyball, and I'm ready to go.
That maybe we can guarantee. I
still got to recover from this weekend and a couple long drives, but no, I'll be ready to go next week. So I'm happy. I'm excited.
Love it. The one thing that I can guarantee for you, Will, is that the crowds will be insane. We've been at these giant convention center sorts of events before in the past, and all you have to do is put you guys out on the court amidst dozens of other courts of juniors and just people who already have volleyball in their minds, and they're going to walk by, they're going to hear my dumb voice over the speaker on the PA, and they're going to gravitate over to you guys, and they're going to get hooked very, very quickly. So you can expect after that first day, when people kind of figure out the situation, there's going to be lots and lots of people around that center court. So we're super stoked for that.
It's going to be interesting. There wasn't fans at the last VLA. This past season in Germany, we weren't allowed to have fans at our games either. And then now fans are starting to come back. So it'll be definitely a very interesting, energetic vibe that I'm excited for, to have some decent crowds back.
So you talked about Germany, Will, where you just were in Lüneburg this past season. I want you to tell the people the story about your last off season going into that, because you came back from Europe and you kind of thought you were done playing. You got a job, you moved to Chicago, and then you got a text, as I recall correctly. So can you tell the people the circumstances surrounding that and what led you to go back overseas last year?
Yeah. Before. So obviously, before that, I was in Denmark, and then COVID hit, and I got sent. Everybody was sent home. World is shutting down. Everything's sent home. Everybody's sent home. Fortunately, I was able to be hired for a data procurement company in Chicago. And once I was hired there, I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. I didn't have an agent at the time, so I said, you know what, this is a good time to stop. I had a good season in Denmark. I'm ready. And then moved into an apartment in a kind of a neighborhood of Chicago called Logan Square. Was living the life there. I loved it. But then I get a text in about June from Stefan Hubner from SVG Lüneburg, and he says, "Hey, something happened, and we were looking for an outsider. You want to come and play?" It's like, sign me up immediately. Yes, I'll take it. Get me out of Chicago. I'm gone. Get me to Germany.
A1 Germany, like
yes.
an offer from A1 Germany came like out of nowhere in a text message. That's an insane story.
Yeah. And it's an absolute blessing. So they were looking at me for the previous season as well, and unfortunately, but fortunately, my good friend Mike Mikolau ended up getting that spot instead of me, which is great.
That's
Mike,
cool. I didn't know that part of it.
I love Mike. He's one of my favorite volleyball dudes of all time. He killed it over there. He loved it. So that's how they knew who I was. And then when they needed a guy, I was available still, unlike most people in June, I should say. So it was kind of a no-brainer to kind of just say yes and go. Playing in the top tier in Germany was always a goal of mine, and somewhere where I knew that I could push myself to my limit, but still be successful, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, and you guys did that going all the way to the semifinals.
Little fun fact about Lüneburg: about 11 years ago, when I played in the Bundesliga 2, Lüneburg was the team that we all looked forward to beating up on when they were playing. They'd come a long way. It's really cool to see a team that used to be pretty much the bottom feeder in your league, in the second league, come all the way up to doing what they're doing out there. It's really cool to see. So congrats to Lüneburg for their success.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It's 100% deserved. There's some great people surrounding that club that are really pushing for them to be, to belong in this, top 3, top 4 part of the table, along with Friedrichshafen and Berlin and Düren and Frankfurt. We, even with the kind of a lower tier budget team, we're competing at an incredibly high level, thanks to coaches and physios and trainers and really anybody surrounding the club. So that was probably my favorite experience playing overseas so far.
That's awesome. Yeah, you had a couple Americans. You had Jordan Ewert from Stanford. You had Dalton Solbrig, who was hurt most of the year, but he's a baller. And then I do know that Lüneburg's picking up a certain little Hawaiian setter from Friedrichshafen going over there this year. That's Joe Worsley, so that's really cool. We got a question in the chat for you, Will. Any clue as to what's next for you? Are you going to go back over and play again, or are you going to stick around stateside for real this time? Do you know, or do you even know the answer at this point?
I do. I was offered the graduate assistant position back at my alma mater, Carthage College, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and I'll be getting my master's degree there and helping the now Carthage Firebirds repeat another national championship.
Dude, that's awesome! Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm excited for it. This was this past season in Germany took as great as it was a kind of a big mental and physical toll on me. So, it's as I get older, I turned 28 this year. So, I gotta think about, what's next. And, this opportunity came up with new coach JW from IPFW. And so it was kind of the perfect fit for me. And I'm super excited to go back to Kenosha and go win another natty.
Congrats, dude. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, Carthage winning the first national championship in program history this year, which was insane. And now next year you're going to have your work cut out for you to defend that as more teams are able to have seasons, because I know that was a big factor in Division III this year. So that is really sweet. We get to see something that resembles Coach Will Kraft. That's dope.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. So it'll be a new experience. Not lacing him up every day for practice, but I'm excited for it.
Well, I'm sure a certain Tim Faulkner is happy to have you around for all 12 months of the year.
I'll be around to play VLA. I'll be around to play grass. Rob, hit me up anytime. Let's go play some grass. Let's go play some indoor. Let's do it.
Love it. That's awesome news. Congrats again. Great to hear. So, Vince, you want to serve Will up our fun little question of the week? Start making him put his GA hat on and start thinking about things this way. What do we got? Exactly. What do you got for us this week?
I know I was talking to a player, just some pawn on the outside. We'll all be answering it. But if you were building a team from scratch, which position do you start with to build around?
I would have to go with setter first. The quarterback of everybody likens a setter to the quarterback of the volleyball court. He's the one who's putting the hitters really in the best position to score points. As passers, you obviously want to help your setter out and put him in a good position, but realistically, the setter is the one who's going to get that ball in the best position possible for you to make a play on it. And especially a setter who can block and play defense and be offensive, kind of a good all-around setter. That's who I would choose first.
Good answer. It's difficult to argue that answer, but Vince is going to try.
I got to shout out my setters too. I want to get set more often. You got to shout out your setters.
Smart, and that's the thing is like I've played both setter and outside, both at a professional level, and personally I have to go with outside hitter. I feel that typically an outside hitter has the potential to control 2 contacts on every play, and I just think that having that dynamic guy that you can go to, and especially one that obviously setter's got to get on the ball right in the right set, but if you get a guy that can pretty much go and swing at everything, he likes to swing at everything. You get a guy who can kind of create that fire out of the attack position, and just kind of be the leader out there to command the passing, kind of be that dynamic player. I think that I personally would start at the outside hitter position if I was going to pick my guy to build a team around. So that's just my opinion from what I've experienced is that usually I've played with a lot of great setters, but it wasn't. I always felt that it was the outside hitter that really took the team or could elevate the team to the next level. If you're building a program, I feel like if you're an established program, a team that's a setter is going to get you to that next level for sure. I think that a setter is key to any championship. I don't think you can just put any guy out there to check the ball around to the best players. But to start the program, I think that you need the guy who's going to set the tone, passing and attacking.
Okay, yeah, I agree with both of those takes. You both have very good points. The setter controlling the second contact, getting the best out of whatever other options are there around him. Outside hitter having the potential to control contacts 1 and 3. But my answer is what I believe to be the most important position at the very, very highest levels of volleyball, like the VLA level and these days especially, and that's opposite. I am fully on board with the fact that if you have a truly elite opposite who can score points in garbage scenarios against 3 blockers from 15 feet off the net, if that dude can take rips and hit high hands and hit deep corners of the court and is able to score points, then that is an absolute difference maker. So setters can do a lot. They can distribute the ball everywhere they want, but if you don't have weapons that can score, you're never going to win. An outside hitter can only do so much. If he could set every ball and he's passing every ball, then teams are just going to keep the ball away from him. But the garbage outlet option in modern high-level volleyball is to chuck it back to the right side. And Will knows this well because he's played with Griffin Shields for so many years. He's a great example of that. If you can get a truly elite high-level scorer to just score points, focus only on lighting up the scoreboard. I think it's the most important position in high-level volleyball, and if you can find one to build around, I think you should. Like if you watch any international tournament, Olympics, World Champs, VNL, it's going on right now. Very, very often, the MVP of the tournament is the opposite from the winning team, because that dude just has to score all of his team's points. He will almost always lead every match in scoring that he plays, and unless you have like Wilfredo Leon or someone like that. But it's why Maxim Mikhailov's been good for so long. It's why Matt Anderson's so good on the right. It's why Wallace for Brazil is so good. It's why Ivan Zaitsev is so good. Like all those dudes, all they have to worry about now is just scoring points. And so that's where I would start if I had the luxury of an opposite of that caliber to build a team around. I would definitely go that way.
Yeah, I think that's something too at all high levels like that is there's only so well you can control that spin serve, that hybrid, all that stuff. I mean, you can get it, and the key is usually just getting it high and off about 10 feet, right? I mean, if you get the right serve, yeah, you perfect it and put it on the net for your setter. But that just forces setters to really bring that ball back to the right side. And the position has developed so much to where, yeah, he is the guy you go to score points. So if you're going for the high level, I mean, you have to have a high level opposite if you expect to win any championship at a professional level.
Well said. You might be able to tell that I've done these debate segments before. do them all the time. I like them. I like talking about volleyball like that. All right, let's give the people what they want to see. Let's check out some highlights from this past weekend in Nebraska. So this first one is like this. I hadn't seen this until Vince sent it to me a little bit ago, and it like my jaw was on the floor. Check out this back two run. Oh man, that's disgusting. Yeah, the back two from Nolan Albrecht. The outside passing, hitting right side in rotation one, coming in on the inside ball. And look at Sam. Look at Vince's blocker, Sam. He like just kind of half jumps on the middle and is on his way down when the back two's coming right over his head, and just absolutely nothing he could do to stop it. I thought that play was so funny.
Yeah, Sam, he bit a little bit on the middle. The worst part is that he obviously wasn't watching the Icemen match before, because they ran that exact same play except for he bounced at the angle at the exact same spot. And,
wow, that's ridiculous.
I'm not positive. Will, you weren't up on that one, were you? That wasn't you, was it?
No, it was not.
Okay.
I don't remember 100%, but I'm just going to claim it wasn't me. So.
Smart man.
Well, the thing was that I remember the Icemen Nebraska match, and when he ran that, he ran it on the angle, and he didn't have to cut it back, which I thought the cutback, I mean, I think that either one of those could have been this highlight, but that cutback was what did it for me. I mean, he just went right over the top and brought it back the other way.
Yeah, that shot is disgusting. We saw Sam Albus do that at VLA Cup. It's like the same play.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, going with your body, yeah, you're going to crush the angle, cool, but when you can cut it back like that, that just made me think it was just that much cooler to see a cutback bounce like that.
Will,
that was definitely the bounce of the weekend.
If I'm not mistaken, Will likes to pass on the right and hit back twos in grass all the time, right? That's your game?
Oh yeah, that's if I'm on the right, that's my shot.
All right, you know a thing or two about this run then.
Yeah. I mean, in grass it's easier. You usually only have one blocker, right? In indoor, if you run that, sometimes you get two to.
Yeah, but sometimes you get no blocker.
Yeah, that's true. If you do, it's easy.
Yeah, this is really sweet. I really like this play.
Yeah.
All right, so this next one is like I think the most David versus Goliath play I've ever seen in my life. This is Vince's little libero, Jesus, who's just the man, playing outside this match because he had two liberos, going up against a legitimate 7-footer and just bouncing the heck out of the ball down the line right beside him, like between him and the antenna. It's just so sick. Vince, how tall is Jesus?
Jesus is 5'5" on his tippy toes. Or no, 5'8", sorry.
Yeah, he's not that little.
He's not 5'5". That's like a running joke with.
That's Eric Martin levels of
how tall
short.
You are, and he says 5'8", and then they always say, "No, you're not." but I don't know why you ask someone and you're going to tell them they're not 5'8". But yeah, he's 5'8", and I stood next to this other guy, and he's definitely a foot taller than me. So
This is awesome.
Yeah.
We saw Zeus play a little bit of outside at VLA Cup, and the kid flies. In addition to being one of the gnarliest like passers and defenders around, so this is an all-time highlight. I can't wait to get this one up on YouTube and try and share it everywhere we can. This is awesome.
Yeah, I remember watching him hit outside at the cup, and I remember was it our first match, Vince? He started at libero and then he moved to outside, and I remember telling guys on the team, listen, this guy rips. He puts his entire body into every ball and crushes it. And so if you're going to go up and block him, make sure the hands are over the net. Because if the hands are up, if they're not over the net, you're getting tooled. He's hitting around you. He has got a cannon, and that just shows it right there. Fully committed.
How high he is.
Yeah.
That's a 5'8" kid. Like, come on.
I mean, I saw it from the other side, and as soon as I flung that out, and I played with him quite a bit, obviously. And it's not like I haven't seen him do something like this before. I mean, what surprised me about it, though, is who he did it against. It's not like he was
right.
I mean, Andrew Strand is a good blocker. I mean, not only is he 7 foot, but I mean, he's just a good blocker. He's a big guy, and and so when I flung that ball out there, I mean, and then he did that, I was just like, what the. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty awesome swing by him. So, definitely congrats on that one, Jesus.
Shouts out to Jesus. This league is in very good hands as far as libero play goes, but it's especially fun when they remember to wear the right color jersey for their team and they get to bang some balls sometimes. It's pretty cool. Yeah. All right, last one. This is another VC Nebraska highlight. The same guy, Nolan Albrecht again. And I'm not even going to talk about this one. You guys just watch and enjoy. Oof. This is a very legitimate facial. Like, the block's a little bit in the way, and credit to Vince, your guy TJ, taking this ball and not falling over somehow, like right in the forehead. But he got it. He's staggering backwards. I would have been on the floor for days if I had gotten hit by that. That was as good of a facial as you're going to see anywhere.
I mean, I feel terrible because I'm blocking.
Yeah, Vince, come on, man.
I mean, but like he comes. I remember when this happened, and like, I don't know why he's standing where he's at, to be perfectly honest.
That's a good point.
But at the same time, he made the right read. I mean, if his hands are together, maybe he's got that. But that ball's perfect straight through the hands and into the grill. And I mean, I turn around, all I see is him falling backwards and everyone running at him to shake his hand like if he's all right. And because, I mean, obviously I didn't see the, actual swing happen or anything. I saw the swing happen, obviously.
Yeah, you saw him blow right past you.
Contact in the face. But, yeah, TJ, I'm sorry, man. I'll drop my arm next time.
What was the crowd reaction when this happened?
Oh, I mean, there's a couple of posts that have gone out. I don't think there was people videotaping. I saw it on Instagram. And I think VC Nebraska might actually have it on their Instagram page. But I mean, all you hear is like, throughout the crowd. Like, I mean, it wasn't like there wasn't a celebration by anybody. It was just like, and it's just like watching. It looked like he just straight punched him in the face, and he just goes flying back. And I think the crowd felt the same way.
That's how you know it was a really good facial. Again, huge credit to TJ for not falling over. Like, that's insane. I would have been on the ground so fast.
Yeah, he took it, he shook it off, went right back in. I think he was technically out of rotation on the next rotation, but hey, they didn't call it on or nothing. But I just remember them telling, "Hey, you got to step over a couple steps."
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, it was a great play. Huge shout out to again VC Nebraska and Nolan Albrecht. I mean, the guy definitely came out and showcased. The whole team did. Dan Mater, setter out there. I mean, just a good, solid team. And to Will's point, these Tier 2 teams that have played this year are just a fantastic addition to the league. I mean, we would never see this team, this group of guys play if it wasn't for our tier 2 structure. And so we're really not reluctant. We're very fortunate that we have our system, and that it allows teams like this to be able to come in and play a handful of matches throughout the season. And not only does it matter for something, but you also get to see great teams play, variety of teams play, and good players get their opportunity to showcase against some of the best teams out there.
Couldn't have said it better, dude. Yeah, big shout-outs to VC Nebraska again. If you want to go rewatch the matches from this weekend, they are all on YouTube, all 4 of them. And gentlemen, I will see you guys in pretty much just a week. VLA championships are only a week away. So, Vince, we haven't really talked about this yet, but I think we'll both be in Orlando next Monday night, so we could do a little live on-site episode of this show. We'll see. We'll have to talk about that and confirm.
Yeah,
with people.
we'll have to see the logistics of the venue and everything like that. I mean, hopefully we can, because generally we get the opportunity to go into the facility a little bit and scope it out, and we can talk a little bit then. We've always had a preview before every single event so far, so hopefully we get that opportunity out in Orlando. And but it is to be announced, let's just say.
Yeah, so stay tuned on the details for the next show. But what we can tell you for sure is that the VLA championships start next Tuesday, June 22nd. And we'll play Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll crown a champion on Thursday, and that'll be it for the season. So if you happen to be at AAUs in Orlando next week, definitely come find us. We'll be pretty easy to find. If not, we'll have every single match live streamed on YouTube. So the level of production will be even better than what you've grown to expect. So we are really excited about that. I think that might be it for now, boys. We have got some good action in the chat, but everybody appreciates the breaking news that we're able to drop on the show. We had one last week when Raymond told us where he was playing this year. We had one this week when Will told us about Carthage. So love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the other thing too, shout out to the VLA YouTube members. We always want to give you a voice. Unfortunately, we won't be able to pull a guest for next week. We will be able to put up the poll for the following week. However, the VLA YouTube member MVP of the weekend was Avery Ellsworth. So congratulations to Avery for winning the MVP of the weekend. And he played fantastic. I mean, even when he got the nod to play outside hitter against us, other than his little cockback throw, that I got called for a lift. I never heard anyone yell, "What kind of professional league is this?"
That's
awesome.
You'd be surprised how many throws we got, kind of iffy throws we got away with this past year in Germany. Sniffy.
Well, clearly, I guess we just don't stack up to the Bundesliga yet. But we'll work on that.
We'll get there. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, shout outs to Avery. Congrats on the fan-voted MVP of the weekend. Yeah, stay super engaged with us this next week. We'll have a lot more detail and info coming out on the website, on Instagram, on YouTube. We'll figure out how we're going to get you this show next week in prep for VLA Championships. And boys, that's it for now. Travel safe to Orlando. We'll see you guys there. Really stoked for it.
All right. Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Will. We'll see you there.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week or whenever we can from around the VLA. Stay tuned for VLA Championships, and we'll see you next time. Peace.